Good morning. Welcome to Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. My name is Sandra Davis, and I'm your host for today's show and for many shows to come. I will start by making some announcement that would make you think of the future. You have to know that I'm not just yet talking about these things. I'm working day and night to make sure that these things happen. I am in touch, aware of what's happening because I work to make it happen, and I work knowing which other beings are day and night in charge of making sure that the world is safe, and that before people understand what's happening with them, their higher level is already working to make sure that the future is a great future that we are all working for. One of the changes that will occur in the show in about 3 months as part of this great change, as part of the year of renewal, is that we'll have on the air healing of spinal cord injury. We'll work all week outside the show schedule, but we'll film and you'll see live healing of spinal cord injury at an unprecedented rate, at a level of efficiency that will bring hope in the world, at a level that will bring joy and good news to everybody. The show will emphasize more aspects of the healing process that will occur in the year of renewal. We're all in the position where we can achieve so much more than ever before, and we set a foundation for a much better future. That is the result of millennia of preparation, evolution, and work. Beings of light, beings of might, and beings of lesser light, but who understand too that they had enough and they don't want to be in the darkness, they don't want to be less. They participated and they decided that enough is enough. They were born in a black hole, they don't want to be forever in a black hole, they want to have a better state of being. And you may realize that somebody who is severely depressed lives inside of an environment of darkness and heaviness that is the emotional equivalent of a black hole. That is why it's hard to get up, it's hard to tie the shoelaces sometimes, it's hard to lift the feelings and the thoughts at the level where it needs to be. And people will learn to come out of the black holes that are surrounding them with negative thoughts, with negative feelings, with the consequences of the difficult situations, to the point where the light will be everywhere. And no, we don't need a balance between light and dark. We need light and that's it. If you look at the beginning of the Bible, it says, "Let it be light." But then somebody thought that they can balance light with darkness, and actually darkness took over. Darkness has a way of taking over because it numbs the feelings, it affects the perception, and it reduces the capacity to apply solution. Super intelligent beings, mighty beings, were overcome by darkness to the point where they couldn't remember who they were. They couldn't reach to a positive thought or to a positive feeling. And we had to jump into the black holes of such emotions and bring people up and bring mighty beings out of the most difficult conditions. Depression, for instance, is not just sadness. The sadness, if anything, is the sadness of the heart that has to witness so much potential that the person has, that cannot move because of that heaviness, that cannot hope because of being under the level of hope that is needed. Now, the potential in the world is immense, and hope has to be raised. 2017 will show that the level of hope will be raised to the point where we'll never fall back into the black holes of negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative experiences. We have a lot to do from the healthy line and up. We have a lot to evolve without having to go through the extreme pains of the emotional thinking and reality limitations. Depression hurts. The body of the depressed person hurts because it does not perceive well enough and does not have the strength to repair. The physical body of a depressed person is breaking down faster and it's repairing slower. So coming out of depression, putting hope first, and lifting people from the most difficult of heavinesses, which is paralysis. Nothing is heavier than paralysis. The physical body of a very slim-looking, paralyzed person is so heavy that it takes 2-3 people sometimes to lift. It's a different gravitational pull. It is in a different dimension that makes it hard. And when there are millions of people who are in a different gravitational pull, that creates problems for the planet, not just for the people. It's hard for the planet, it's hard for the people. When you add up the number of depressed people and the number of paralyzed people and the number of hurt people and the number of very angry, fiery angry people, you'll find out that the planet has to struggle, and that would be the resource that would actually is being consumed, and it would be the resource that would bring happiness to those people, to all people actually. Bringing hope up, bringing healing visibly in society, in families, in the whole humanity, will actually lift the capacity for healing other conditions. Healing blindness, which is another aspect of the darkness, healing blindness, healing paralysis, healing depression, will actually lift the whole planetary condition, both through the reduction of the darkness and through the increase of light and joy and happiness that happens as people see that the cures are possible and they participate to the cure. When I will have the part of the show, I'll have half of the show I will explain things like I've done so far. I will have guests. The second half of the show will be with people who are paralyzed. And when I will explain to people how paralysis works and they'll see how the healing occurs, then at the planetary level, people would be in a different dimension, a dimension of healing that opens the gate of paradise. There's the gate of ability. It's connected to paradise.
Float me on the China Sea. Float me on the China Sea.
You may want to go back and watch the show about the gates to the internal paradise. And I'm describing there is a gate that's called the gate of ability. That's a true light that results from the state of ability. If you are able to see, to hear, to move, to understand, to speak, everything that is ability will contribute to that light to the internal paradise. And beings that are paradise compatible have that gate of ability open or opening. Now, what about the other people who are not in paradise and because of lesser ability, they are not paradise ready from that point of view? They are in the kingdom. I was announcing a while ago that paradise and the kingdom are united, and that the transition from the kingdom will have everything it takes for the healing of people who will overcome their lesser abilities to enter through the gate of ability as well, to connect with their internal paradise. And you can imagine that not only divinely and humanly that makes sense, but the happiness that you all feel when you are able to do something, when you can function, when you can sing, when you can dance, and the sadness when it's difficult to do so. The beauty of the situation on earth right now that could announce a year of renewal and many years of healing for people, the beauty now is that everything is available here now. We have just to learn how. And that's one of the things that I would like to show you. How do we use our own human understanding, our own human goodness, our own human learning, the divine guidance and the divine power for healing? How do we cooperate in that with the scientific knowledge and with the scientific power for healing? Science discovers processes in reality and provides for knowing how to deal with some things. We do not depart from science. Actually, I will count on a multidisciplinary team. I will have doctors consulting the patients, and I will have spiritual people and divine people working with people who need to be healed. In the Church of Paradise, people would learn about healing, and they will learn the respect for science, which is a more rigorous, more verified way of looking at reality. Is science perfect? Of course, it needs to evolve. Divine science is better. Divine science is actually academic science. It's a higher level compared to the scholastic level of science. The scholastic level looks in more immediate, more materialistic. That's very important as well. It counts on induction, deduction, on verifying, which is very important. But you'll see the verification of the divine science that will be announced on the show. Okay, this is the divine science and the scientific science that allows us to cure this condition that cannot be cured just with medical means, but a combination of medical means, scientific means, and with a divine science and divine power, we get the results, because we have to look at the wholeness. And the demonstration is immediately there. You'll see how it happens. The way it will happen on the show is that it will be an unfoldment. You'll see from one day to another, from one week to another, major changes in healing. But it's not a tap on the head. I'm not saying that a tap on the head doesn't work. For some people, that's for whom that works, I'm happy, good for them. If somebody can provide that kind of power and somebody can react to that kind of power and get healed right away, more merit to them. But I am working in a gradual manner where for a condition that would take years and years and years with slight improvement, with me there'll be 2-3 months of major results, and then people can take it from there. But the fact that there is a gradual way of proceeding will show you the process, will show you the reality of it, will show you the way miracles are actually recreated. When somebody's healing occurs miraculously, but nobody knows how to explain it, it's beautiful to respect miracles and to say, oh, it's a miracle, it's wonderful, thank God, this is a miracle. That's good. And that encourages many people. But to have a miracle understood enough for many more people to have that miracle happen, that's our next step. The divine is providing for understanding, or enough understanding of miracles to recreate the miracles. What's the miracles is the recreation with divine power and the wonderful powers of mind, body, and soul and spirit, the recreation of the healthy body, of the healthy function in the body. And that is magical, that's wonderful. But magical also involves work, also involves responsibility, also involves divine qualities. People who heal best are people who are receptive, who are perceptive, who are respectful, who do their work, who not only want and wish to be healed, but understand that they cannot sit there, judge the healer, judge everybody on earth, and expect that the healing should be happening just like that. You do it instantly to me or I judge you. It's not the way it works. Is you help me and I do my share. As we both work, we do teamwork, we do individual work, and everybody has to do their share. There'll be a work for kinetotherapists, there'll be a kinesiologist here, there'll be work for pressupuncture, there'll be work for psychological healing after the trauma of having had an accident that was severe enough to create disability, for instance. There are aspects that have to be understood for each individual design of work. But then to see, and the miracle is, miracles don't have to last 1 second. Miracles can last a lifetime. Miracles can last a month. It's as long as we step into the miracle zone, we'll have the miracle happen. And this is what I will work to teach you in this year of renewal. How do you step into the miracle zone? I would like you to stay at home to see how the people that I work with in your presence are recovering. You understand the miracle zone and you apply it for yourself. And then you find yourself that your divine qualities, your opening to the miracle zone, will connect you to your own divine capacities, including capacities for self-healing of conditions that used to be untreatable before paradise was reactivated on earth, before people reconnected to paradise. So all of the changes that we have through the fact that we are freed from the limitations from the Maker, from the Creator, and we enter into the realm of the true godly ways, the godliness, where the Creator and the Maker will help the healing process according to the ways that are nature's ways, which are God's ways. I'm looking forward to show you that practical aspect. This show is not just about talking about ideas. This is really showing you how, and we will be advancing together. After the break, I'll tell you more.
Float me on the China Sea. Float me on the China Sea.
The Bible announced that in the kingdom of God, the lame shall walk and the blind shall see. That can have many meanings, but the concrete meaning of really recovering the capacity to walk, to recreate the correct motion of the body and control of the functions, and regaining the capacity to see physically, not just divinely, but physically. That is a process that will be demonstrated to you. My first priority will be to work with people with spinal cord injury, and immediately after that is visibly seen as possible, I will immediately start working with people who have severe impairment, primarily with people who are legally blind. Now, I was saying at some point that as the hope is lifted, people from the heaviest of conditions seeing solutions actually really happening in front of them. If seeing is believing, they'll see it and they will know from that point on. But other than the lifting of hope, the lifting of the knowledge and understanding, what does it take for self-healing to improve? What does it take for healing to work when there's a team working with a person or with more? Of course, we welcome all input. Nutrition is important, exercise is important. Anything that is part of the healing process will be respected. But the emphasis of what I have to teach people is the connection between their divine nature at the human level, uniting with their divine nature and the paradise, through paradise at the divine level. That connection, when you start to activate your divine qualities, you activate your divine capacities. And one of the divine capacities is the divine self-healing, or the divine healing power for one to heal another. There are many other powers, and we'll be talking about that in the future, but right now we have to stay very focused on the tasks of understanding that when the human and the divine are united through the fourth dimension of paradise, the human is advancing towards higher dimensions with higher potentials, and it's all God ordained, it's all divine, it's all for your own evolution, it's part of what the reality is. This is not an option. You can take it as an option. Of course, nobody will force you to go that wonderful path, but will definitely passionately try to show you so that you can benefit from something that exists, that is possible. Now, when more severe cases will benefit from the things that will be visibly helpful, then other people, other cases would receive the empowerment, the courage, the hope, and more understanding will develop in people, more healing will happen at the planetary level. In the first episode of this show, I announced that Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother is the beginning of the planetary dialogue. And this is indeed the beginning of the planetary dialogue about paradise on Earth. Right now is the dimension of paradise that more and more people become compatible with, and that's ordained, that's been worked on for a very long time. But paradise on earth will comprehend all people. Eventually all people will understand and will naturally function in the ways of paradise, which will surround the entire planet with an unprecedented healing power.
The first 2 seasons of Paradise have now introduced the public to fundamental principles already alive in the human population. The returning season of the show will guide people towards the understanding of the universe from the Paradise perspective, the role and the implications for the human population at the heart of Paradise and beyond. The hostess of the show, Sonda Davis, the mother, is not just talking about imagining paradise. She is communicating the realities of paradise as she lived the very journey all the way from paradise and beyond. All of these, Sonda Davis was continuously working with deities and divinities from heaven and earth to ensure the transition from the old system based on duality and destruction to the new system, based on reconciliation, planetary safety, and divine evolution. The first 2 seasons of Paradise Now dialogues with the Mother aired in 2016-2017 on Vision TV. At that time, the show was the beginning of the planetary dialogue about paradise on Earth. Since then, despite the many problems that we had on Earth, people evolved towards fulfilling the fundamental principles of paradise on Earth, and the structures of paradise stabilized to bring the entire population towards a vision of peace, prosperity, help for one another, love and responsibility for the planet, nature, family, spiritual and divine evolution. In 2022, during the planetary alignment, in consensus with the cosmic and universal law, all planetary beings, all planets of the solar system declared and recognized Earth as paradise, the mother planet.
The interdisciplinary teams will increase so that everybody can reach a deeper understanding. A team of doctors and nurses and physiotherapists.
Throughout all of these, Sonda Davis was continuously working with deities and divinities from heaven and earth to ensure the transition from the old system based on duality and destruction to the new system, based on reconciliation, planetary safety, and divine evolution. The first 2 seasons of Paradise Now dialogues with the Mother aired in 2016-2017 on Vision TV. At that time, the show was the beginning of the planetary dialogue about paradise on Earth. Since then, despite